る数の傭兵 W よ。本当にお久しぶりね。って言ってもあんたが思う久しぶりとは意味が違うかもね。でも別にいいわ。今のあんたは私が探してたあんたじゃないから、今のところは安全ってわけ。そう、今のところはね。
Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to talk about W, a 6-star AoE sniper and also limited 6-star operator. As you guys might watch from other videos such as 777 Aki, 25th Night, and Takdes, W is one of the strongest damage dealer in the game due to high damage multiplier from her skills, causing easy one-shot on all enemies in range, and if they're still standing, they will get stunned instead. Both her second and third skill are very consistent, and she is one of the best operators when it comes to mob killing. AoE snipers in general are less popular than other classes, but W's damage is too good to be ignored because of how large her damage multipliers are. Let's talk about both W's talent first. W's first talent, Ambush, allows W to dodge both physical and earth damage by 40% to 60% while also less likely to get attacked by enemies after 10 seconds of deployment. This means W is safe from getting damaged by enemies and need less support from medics. W's second talent, Insult to Injury, is available when you promote her to Elite 2. This talent allows enemies within W's range to get additional damage when they got stunned. Remember that the stun will always be applied before her skill damage the enemies, meaning W will always benefit her second talent. But just in case, this is the comparison between no stun and with stun. So yep, both are pretty much the same. Nothing different, both works the same way. Anyway, this talent also benefits all allies who are attacking enemies within W's range, making this talent become a good offensive support to your allies. Let's start with her first skill, King of Hearts. This skill allows W to damage enemies up to 350% AoE physical damage, while also stun enemies for 3 seconds. This skill has the largest damage multiplier from other skills, but since this skill has longer cooldown than her second skill, this lowered down W's overall DPS, and you will find her second skill and her third skill more appealing than this one. This skill is not worth investing, but here's a little footage of how W's skill works. Let's continue with her second skill, Jack in the Box. This skill allows W to implant mines within W's range that will last 2 minutes during operation. When an enemy gets near the mine will deal 280% of AoE physical damage while also stun them for 2.2 seconds. This is a good skill if you're using her in long-term operations such as Annihilation. While this skill is still based on RNG because of how random the mines are placed, you can still use this skill as your go-to because the mines will still prioritize the enemy that is near the base, making this skill is way more consistent than her first skill. In other words, the RNG part will only occur when there's no enemies in range. When an enemy is present in range, the mines will be planted below that enemy so they will take the damage anyway. The downside of this skill is that sometimes the mine will blow up when you don't really need it, but since the mines has very short cooldown, the mines are still spammable, especially if you're using Liscarm and Philoptus. Another thing to note is that the mines will not be activated nor it will hit aerial enemies, so be sure to remember that. Now let's get into her final skill, D12. This skill allows W to immediately place up to 4 bombs to enemies in her range, dealing 310% AoE physical damage each bomb and stun them for 5 seconds. This skill will prioritize enemies that is with highest HP and also have 4-second delay, so be sure to remember that. This skill is easily W's go-to skill because this skill will immediately delete all enemies due to high nuke each bomb gives. This skill has the longest cooldown out of all 3 skills, but the cooldown is worth it because of how absurd the damage is. Even if the enemy is still standing, you still have a lot of time to kill them with W's second talent. Like I said before, the talent benefits to all allies as long the enemy is still on W's attack range. This skill is not as clunky as her second skill, making this skill as the best go-to and also safe skill for your operations. For more consistency, Ellipsis and Liscom are definitely the best pair for constant AoE damage. Before we get into the last part, remember that this part is 100% my opinion on how I felt about W. This part is my unbiased review, and if you don't like or don't want to hear my opinion, you are free to leave now. I personally have to say that W is definitely worth it. The damage multiplier is so high and I use W in every single stage when clearing chapter 7. She is definitely worth to get and great to have, but she is not a must to get. Most of the time, you will find Silver Rush and Yala's delete button more appealing since they have larger attack range and will continuously damage enemies in that large range, while W's burst will only be triggered once per use. I know that Silver Rush and Yala has lower damage multiplier, but since they have longer duration on their skills, it is justified as they're not straight up burst damage to begin with, but more of a consistent continuous damage. Another notable thing about these two compared with W is that they can use their skills to defeat bosses, which is something that W can't do, as most bosses cannot get stunned and you need consistent continuous high damage to do so. So does that mean that W is straight up weak? With the damage I showed you during the whole video, does she look weak to you? No. Like I mentioned before I talk about her cons, her burst is very high. When you're clearing mobs, having W will make your operations so much easier because her burst is very consistent, especially that most chapter 7 stages are filled with continuous mobs, and W is the perfect job for that as her burst is easily delete enemies in her range and can be triggered way more frequently than Silver Rush and Yala's delete button. Since her second talent allows stunned enemies to take more damage, her overall kit is not only good for herself, but also good for offensive support to your allies. For a DPS operator who deals very high burst damage but can also stun that support your allies with extra damage multiplier, that's already a good deal. Another good thing about her is that in annihilation stages, W can give you easier time to defeat enemies as her mines from her second skill are already planted and enemies that pass it will get obliterated very easily. Using W in CC stages will also a good idea for easy burst damage to enemies. Mob killers is usually what AoE snipers are used for, but W take it to another level with highest burst damage in the game and her stun support. So So of course, she is not useless at all, and in fact, a fantastic damage dealer. What if you don't get W? Well, it's okay. Silver Ash, Blaze, and Ayafyala are still the best damage dealer in the game and can pretty much deal with mobs pretty easily, and if not, probably better. How about her stun and her debuffs? Well, Red and Texas can also stun. If you're looking for damage additives, Kamanik, Shamar, Elysium, and Suzuran can still help you with that, but way better with damage additives. She is not a must because there's no specific stages that needs W, but having her will of course make your game so much easier. If you're still planning to pull on the banner, getting Weedy and Elysium are already good enough as those two will be used more often than W, especially in contingency contracts. Of course, if she is your waifu, then go ahead and aim for her. But if you want consistency, then I'd say just aim for Weedy and Elysium. If you already got both, then I'd say save for the next banner as Thorns will be more worth to get for your overall runs. The question right now is, do I recommend building W, and is it worth the hassle? Of course, 100% yes. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked that video, be sure to like and subscribe to my channel for more Arknights and Genshin Impact videos I post every single week. Thank you to my supporters, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Stay safe everyone, peace out.